Welcome to the Cats Pod. A bit more somber Cats Pod than normal. Not the celebration that we were hoping for sure. This is Ben Christians joined by my notorious co-host Eric Lover. How are you feeling right now, Eric?
Oh man, I think you know how I'm feeling.
Yeah,
You know,
but the people need to know. Like I can't just know about it. The
yeah,
people also need to know.
pretty disappointed, to say the least.
Mhm.
Uh, I just, they made me eat my words, and I don't like that.
Mhm. Oh, I feel like the stupidest person
Yeah,
in the world because I was like putting up pictures. I was so confident going into this game. I think I posted like three different pictures on Twitter and Instagram, and they were all about how we were going to expose the Vandals and all this stuff. And like, it did not turn out that way whatsoever. I am going to
yeah,
be eating my words for weeks to come. Personally, I need to recover from this, because I know it's not about the players, it's not about the coaches. Everybody comes here for me, so they have to be paying attention to me and exactly what I think is going to happen. And it was a tough loss for me personally.
yeah. I mean, I think it is for all of Bobcat Nation, and really, really. I mean, can we be honest here and say this is a tough loss for the entire Big Sky aside from Montana? Because now every team in the Big Sky is going to have to hear the Grizzlies start talking.
Yeah,
That's all they're going to do. They're going
like
to talk big about this,
mhm.
and we're never going to hear the end of it.
They're already starting to talk. We have both gotten several messages already. The Grizz
Yeah.
fans, I think they were in hibernation or something.
Oh my
They
god.
were in hibernation for a while because earlier in the season, we were talking about how they had never been more scared in their lives. The Grizz fans were thoroughly shook. They were just sitting there. I think they were snoring. They were sleeping. They had no idea what was going on. But tonight, after one missed field goal, all of a sudden, the Grizz fans come out of the woodwork, and here they are. The Grizz fans are back again. These Fairweather Grizz fans are back again.
It's just it I mean it makes you want to puke, man. It drives me crazy, and it's not even like you said, it's not even the loss that's killing me. It's having to listen to everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, honest to God, everyone most people I know are Cat fans. And even on this great winning streak that was going on, everyone was still relatively quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Of course there was, oh, this is a great team, really proud of this team, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But it is not. I mean, we never went out of our way to text a Grizz fan after the NAU game.
No,
Not a chance.
didn't do it.
I mean,
If I saw somebody in person, I might get a little quick shot in, little
right.
jab.
But to take time out of your day to somebody that you don't talk to regularly,
Mm-hmm.
I got a text from a guy who is, I'd guess, 58 to 60, somewhere in there.
Yeah, he's rounding the corner to retirement.
Right. Jabbing me about the Bobcats losing in a picture. Send me a picture of my wife in a Grizz shirt saying, "Why don't you join the winning side?"
That's the thing. That's the thing these Grizz fans don't understand. Because Grizz fans, they will just swap colors. They'll flip flop. They don't care about what's going on. But Bobcat fans, like, we have taken so much harder losses than this.
Oh,
Like, this
100%.
loss is not something that's going to turn any Bobcat fan.
And,
Nobody's going through this game and then they're going to switch to the other side after this thing. We
and
are die hard.
you're right. And I think we need to take a step back here and remember the old days
Yeah.
where we didn't. I mean, honestly, this year, was it more of a, you know, Frisco or bust? I think that was kind of a big deal going into this season. It was, we're going to the playoffs. We have a great team, but maybe we need to take a step back and just remember what it was like being perennial underdogs, terrible, you name it.
Mm-hmm.
We had a few good seasons, but really it was kind of rough, and we just need to focus on what matters, and that's, you know, playoffs are just a bonus
Mm-hmm.
because we have Cat Grizz. Cat Grizz is, and at this point now, is what matters.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what mattered
It
before.
matters like personally, and it also matters
Right.
everything for like playoff implications. And
Yeah.
it's going to be the biggest game of the year, even more than normally is.
Yeah.
Which makes for a fun Cat Grizz, because we've had a lot of Cat Grizz where it mattered for one team and didn't matter for the other, or it didn't matter for either team in general.
Yeah.
But this one is going to have major implications both for rivalry's sake and for the playoffs. So I think that's going to add to a lot of the tension, and it's going to make for a really intense Cat Grizz.
I think so too. And honestly, we just need to, and I'm guilty of it too. Just remember that playoffs are just a bonus. It's the season first, and then playoffs just happen to come with it. Now, the only, we lose to Idaho. Very good team, very solid team. We knew that going into the game that this was a very good team.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't work out the way we wanted it to work out, but here we are.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that at this point, let's just focus on the season.
Let's close out this regular season the strongest way possible.
Playoffs be darned. Let's just focus on the season.
I think this next week at practice and going into this next game is going to be the biggest test of what we've been calling cat culture that has happened in several years.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that? Because we were always kind of the up and comers in the last few years, right?
Yeah. And something really cool next week after the Eastern Washington game, a friend of mine is going to join the podcast, and he's an ex-Cat player, and he knows the relationships and how, kind of this whole, the team chemistry and all that works.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be pretty fun to talk to him about it.
Yeah. It'll be good to get an insight from near inside the locker room, at least.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, if this team can pull together from this loss.
Well, and they did after half. I mean, the first half was abysmal.
Mm-hmm.
And they did pull together.
Yep.
You saw the chemistry come together. I mean, the outcome wasn't what we wanted, but boy, did they work.
I just want to know, how do we solve this first half slump?
Honestly, I hate to throw blame around, but did you think that the offensive play calling got a little cute at times? I mean, we're the number one rushing attack in the FCS, yet we come into this game and just decide we're going to throw the ball the whole time.
I don't know if it's because, I don't know if they're hearing the chatter like around the country, because I know like FCS Nation has been going after the Cats because they're a one trick pony, basically saying they're a one-sided team. They don't have the passing, and the run game is all that they have. And we were balanced on offense today. We had 24 pass attempts and we had 23 carries. But I don't think that is what we are as a team. Obviously, I'm not a coach. I'm just and we're just a couple fans here, but as a team, we would love to see our runs setting up our passing,
right,
rather than our passing setting up our runs.
Yeah. I mean, we could get into what went wrong all day long, and I don't think anybody really wants to hear us complain too much about what went wrong, but I mean, the one consistency between every single episode we put out is special teams. And guess what bit us in the butt?
Oh, what was it?
Special teams.
No way, dude.
Yeah.
No way.
Shocker.
Never would have guessed. Was it wide right?
Again?
Oh, dude. We've never seen it before. It's never happened.
And once again, we know nothing about relationships between players, coaches, what's going on behind the scenes. Why, we sit back and we watch this and we say, oh, here he comes again. And we knew, we were in a room full of people watching this game, and everybody knew he was going to miss it.
I was standing up.
Yeah.
I just want to say,
I was on the floor.
For the fans.
I was on the floor.
It was literally like two sides of it, because everything was going on, and you were standing in the corner, and you were like, "He's gonna miss this. There's no way he makes this." And I stood up out of my chair. I put both my hands in the air, and I said, "He's gonna fully redeem himself. This is the moment." I was trying to put all the energy I could out there into the atmosphere and get that. I was gonna will that ball to go through the goalpost, no matter how far right or left it was. I was gonna be the secret wind inside that dome.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to be. And then it went far right. Like far right, as in like it would have been foul in every ballpark in America. But it was so bad. Eric literally fell to the floor. He
100%.
literally fell to his knees and was like praying to Allah on the ground.
No, and it was. I mean, I shouldn't have even been. I shouldn't have had a reaction like I did because I just knew it was going to happen. And
but we still believe
when. And this is, I just hate to talk bad about the coaches' decisions and everything because honestly, the team has done so well that I don't like to spew a bunch of.
Hopefully we can spin it this way, okay? They're trying something out. They're trying to set up the team for later success.
Yeah.
Like they know that we're going to run into teams where we're going to need a pass game. And the only way they're going to do that is by getting reps against quality teams.
Right.
So by passing the ball and working the ball like to the sideline to get for Cleveland Thomas and stuff, that didn't work this game. But maybe in some really crucial moment in Cat Grizz over the next 2 weeks when we really need to get these 2 wins, that play is going to hit. And it's because they got those in-game reps in.
All right. Enough of the negative. Because we can go on all day. Your guy.
My guy.
Again.
My guy. He hit for me.
What a stud.
Yeah. Julius Davis, baby. Julius Davis. Orange Julius, the smooth man himself, got 84 yards, and I needed 75 to hit my bet. That was the only silver lining on this thing. Silver lining, I hit one bet because Julius Davis got me those yards. Tommy didn't rush today. Tommy could have rushed a little bit more, but we got to keep his carries down because we want to keep him on the field.
Yeah.
So I understand the vision there. Trayton Pickering.
Stud. The man from Sunburst.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I love our announcer and the way that he announces Trayton Pickering's name. Not his name. He'll say his name quietly. It's like, Trayton Pickering from Sunburst, Montana. Yeah. he whispers his name and then he yells out the town. I think people think his name is Sunburst, Montana. Like number 80 tight end, Sunburst, Montana.
And not only him, but Brody Greeby.
Brody Greeby had
the cowboy from Millstone, Montana.
I know people from Millstone, and I want to hit them up and be like, did he actually rodeo? It wouldn't surprise me if he did, but I've never seen it before. I don't know. I've seen him in a cowboy hat, but I've never seen him in an actual rodeo.
Oh, I know they have a ranch, don't they?
And I guess Millstone is the Cowboys.
Are they?
No, they're the Bronx. They're the Bronx. They are not the Cowboys.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure they have a ranch and everything, but I love his enthusiasm, and it's those two guys.
Mm-hmm. No. And they're killer small town Montana players.
Yeah,
so you gotta love to see that. Yeah,
you gotta love that. But speaking of Brody Greeby, dude was everywhere.
Yep.
We kind of griped on him a little bit last week, but boy, did he show out today. I mean, unfortunately, the outcome wasn't what we wanted, but. Really,
the defense
really
did
solid.
Hold up pretty well in the first half.
They were
being on the field the entire half.
Yeah, the whole time.
They were on the field the entire half, and they let them have 10 points.
Yeah.
And we had 14 yards of total offense, I think, for most of the first half,
12.
if not all of the first half.
We had 12.
12 yards.
Yeah.
And it's like how they were holding their own, and they were doing the job that they needed to do.
Yeah.
For both teams, I didn't notice this until I looked at the stats, but it was a clean game for both teams. No interceptions.
Well,
no fumbles.
There was numerous occasions of blatant penalties.
Yeah. Did we see some horse pucky in this game? Was it light horse pucky?
It was heavy horse pucky.
Heavy horse pucky.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You got to stay away from that.
Yeah. I think my number one takeaway is we cannot we have got to stick to the bread and butter.
Yeah.
We got to run the ball down their throats, figure out a way to do it. There are ways to scheme big runs. They did it to us the entire first half.
But we always cut everybody up. And it would be like 10-yard run, 10-yard run, two in a row, back to back. And then all of a sudden it was a 30-yard pass.
Right.
It was all big plays all the time because everybody would stack up in the box because we were running. And then everything was wide open. That's why Tommy has nearly a 70% completion rating.
Right.
Like his passing has gotten a lot better, but it's also because they would scheme them open in such useful ways. And I think that comes from creative play calling. And so we can't hate on them now because the creative play calling didn't work, just because in the past it did work for us and today it didn't. So now it looks bad. But in the future, we're going to have to lean on that type of creative play calling where nobody knows where we're going to go with the ball.
All I'm saying, first drive of the game, we get the ball after, I think they kicked the field goal, right? Yeah, they kicked the field goal. We get the ball. We throw the ball first down.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
We throw the ball second down. Nothing. Third down, we hand it to Julius Davis. He gets 9 yards.
Yeah.
That seems backwards.
It's almost like you're thinking too much about what the other team's going to think.
Yeah.
You know? We can look over at Idaho, see what they did well against us.
Everything. They did everything well against us.
I mean, yeah, their passing game.
It was
Giovanni McCoy, 22 for 29, 229 yards, 2 touchdowns. Very solid game for him.
Incredible game by him.
A lot of rushers out there. A lot of people got receptions today. One fumble, no fumbles lost though. I wish Brody would have been able to pick up that backwards pass, or just intercept it or go get it, because it felt like, I'm not saying he didn't know what was going on in the play, because it would have been really hard for him to get to the ball.
No, I think
like
Giovanni McCoy
nobody
is the
thought
only
it was
one
there
who actually understood that he did that. He,
like that it was a fumble, and
he was the only one back there.
Batted down.
Yeah.
He was the only one that went and got it. But
yeah.
It was overall, we just hope that this is a game that they can pull together from, because I think that this type of loss at this time in the season, while it does terrible things for playoff implications, terrible things for rankings, it is a time where we can finish out the season super strong and still be in a really good place when it comes to the playoffs. We could be playing our best football. Sometimes it's kind of like coach talk after the game, but taking a loss like this is not the worst thing in the world if you can build from it.
You're right.
Like, if we go into the playoffs and we have only lost to SDSU, the overconfidence would have probably creeped in. But you get punched in the mouth one time, you see how that feels, you see how it feels to be in a close game, you grow from it, you learn from it, you become a real playoff championship team after that.
I think now's a good time to talk about grand scheme of things. I do think this loss eliminates us from ever getting the 2 seed.
The 2 seed would be really difficult. We would have to put together an amazing game against the Grizz. We would have to completely womp Eastern Washington and Northern Arizona. We would have to put them in the dirt, 40 burgers at a minimum, and then we would have to beat the Grizzlies really efficiently.
Who's our next game against? Do you have that schedule up?
Next game is against.
I should know off the top of my head.
Eastern Washington.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we play Eastern Washington, then it's Cat Grizz, right?
No, it's NAU, then Eastern Washington,
okay,
then Cat Grizz. But one sec, let me double check for a second.
Yeah. Anyway, I think.
Yeah, NAU, then Eastern Washington, then Montana. I was right.
I didn't realize we had 2 home games in a row.
We do.
That's awesome.
We get to get our lives back together.
That's going to be great for confidence. Yeah. Go home, get your house in order, take care of business. Essentially and it's not like NAU and Eastern Washington are scrubs. Get some good competition, get things worked out. Go to Missoula, figure it out,
take care of business.
South Dakota State absolutely hammering South Dakota today. That was,
Mhm.
I mean, that game was never close.
No.
Not from halfway
There
through
was
the
a
first
couple
quarter.
bobbles in the first quarter,
Yeah,
but that was it.
but they absolutely destroyed them, which makes our loss to them look a little bit better.
I think it looks a lot better because we lost to him by a toenail.
Yeah, yeah, and then we lose to Idaho, which we think that's a terrible loss, but it really isn't because
It's just because it stings right now.
yeah,
It's going to feel terrible for the next couple days. Then by the time we get to next week's game, we're gonna kill again.
we had a solid win against Sac State. We had a very close loss to Idaho.
Yeah.
The Montana game is going to it does have pretty big implications at this point.
Huge. Where do you think we'll be ranked next week?
We're gonna fall. I think.
Yeah.
I think substantially with this one because
We have to be above South Dakota.
South Dakota is going to fall far.
Yeah.
I think that they could fall maybe even all the way back to maybe like 9 or something.
I'm guessing Furman, I think, got a win today.
Yeah, you can't.
Delaware also got a win.
Furman, Delaware. Oof. Delaware's combined win loss, but I don't know who they played today. But before their combined win loss for the opponents was
Terrible.
So negative, so far below 500.
Yeah.
They're I once again I hate to spew a bunch of venom on somebody here on a team I don't really know, but
But it's also like kind of a testament to the way this is set up. South Dakota State and Montana State had probably the two hardest strength of schedules in the top 10 or the top 25.
South Dakota State, you got to give them props. They are going through a gauntlet. They start the season off with Montana State.
Yeah.
They hit South Dakota, North Dakota State, the Salukis.
Yeah. I like the way you say that.
Yeah, it's a fun word to say.
Yeah.
But that is a brutal schedule. Montana State, we didn't have quite as many top tier opponents.
No.
But every one of ours was on the road.
Every one of them.
I mean,
it's such a tough schedule to play in general. Like, how do you compete with that? How do you play those games every day?
I think that they will take that into effect, that our hardest games have been on the road, including Cat Grizz on the road.
Yeah.
Every single one. Sac State. We had to go to Weber State, which, Weber State is what it is at this point.
3 top 10 matchups in the last 5 weeks, all on the road.
Yep. They're going to have to take that into account when they come up with the rankings. As far as where they end up after this, we're going to fall. And I wouldn't be surprised to see the Grizzlies jump us.
I really hope it doesn't happen, but I also wouldn't be surprised either.
I have a feeling it could be.
Because is Idaho going to jump up to... Are they going to become 2?
Well, could it be 4, 5, 6? Grizzlies, Idaho, Cats.
It could.
Sac State, I don't have the score in front of me right now, but they were winning.
Sac State is currently up by a touchdown. 8 points. They're up 8 points. We're recording in the third quarter of that game.
You can't drop Furman. You can't drop Delaware.
No.
There was another top 10 school, Western Carolina. They lost today.
Okay.
What's
going on with Incarnate Word? Do they not have a very tough schedule? Because they're sitting at 6-1. They're sitting behind 3 teams that are at 5-2.
No, Incarnate Word is going to.
They have to move up.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a lot of teams that have to move up, and only a couple teams that have to move down. And I feel like that's going to hurt us right now. But that doesn't mean we still have 3 weeks left in the season. It doesn't change a whole lot for us.
The number one thing at this point I'm hoping for is that we don't end up on the same side as SDSU.
Yeah.
That's the number one thing.
Yeah.
I don't care who we have to play, as long as we don't have to play SDSU till the chip, if we were to make it there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you
Rough
want to
day.
talk about our
Rough
picks
day.
from last week? Because I feel like that might be equally as rough at this point.
Yeah, let's talk about our pick. I mean, it has been a rough week. Let's be honest.
It's
here.
been a rough week in general.
My
Like it's
Phillies,
just a terrible one.
My Phillies lose
Yeah, that
to
was
the
a heartbreaker.
Diamondbacks.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. The Cats lose to Idaho. I mean,
It's all stacking up.
you might just check in with me later. Do a welfare call.
I will. I'll make sure that I'm checking in hourly. I unplugged all the toasters in your house.
Did you get
just
the
to
one in
make
the
sure.
bathtub?
I did.
Okay.
I unplugged that one. I took the heating element out of it actually. So in case you plug it in later, we have that handled for sure.
Yeah.
Montana over Northern Colorado. I'm pretty sure we picked that one correctly.
Oh yeah.
Portland State over Eastern Washington. That was also a win for us. But UC Davis, Northern Arizona, we lost that one. Correct?
Yep.
We picked UC Davis. So that's 2-2 so far. And then we picked Sac State over Idaho State, and that is looking like a win. So we could come out above 500, but we don't know what's going to happen in the second half of this game.
Yeah.
We're going to assume that we won that one. We're going to call ourselves above 500 for the picks,
I think
just because of the way the day is going. And I might record a short thing later and add it onto the episode if we end up being wrong. Just so I can say, hey, Ben here, we're idiots. We are actually terrible at picking games. I really hope nobody's using these picks that we give each week to like bet actual money on.
Yeah. Also, quick apologies for my sports bet this week. That was not good. That was not good.
Yeah.
That was bad.
I ended up down $1.
Yeah.
After Julius Davis hit for me and I missed my other one, I was down $1. So I'm at a solid $39.96 in my Montana sports bet account.
I'm kind of wondering here if you're the reason.
We only bet the same thing on one of them. And I actually won this week. I am turning away from being the curse. I am no longer the curse. I passed it on. You're the problem now.
No.
You are the problem now.
I won 100% last week.
I went 50% this week and I went 100% last week.
I don't like your tone. Okay? I am not the problem.
I also didn't go 100% last week because I bet that stupid 2 rushing touchdowns by both the quarterbacks.
Yeah.
So I ended up winning money last week, but I lost one of my bets. But that was kind of a flyer at a $5 huge upside bet. It wasn't anything serious.
Also, little side tangent here. If any of our listeners want to chime into the, what do you call that, the chat box or something?
We got voice messages. You can also tweet at us at CatsPod. We now have an Instagram, so if you want to jump in the DMs and ask us a question on that Instagram.
Yeah.
I also followed a bunch of the players today from that CatsPod one. We would love to hear from any players that have anything to say to us.
Yeah.
They may want to rip our heads off. They may love us. Who knows?
Well, if anyone listening wants to chime in with a good therapist for me, Eric,
Yeah.
I am getting irrationally mad about the Cats losing this week and could probably use somebody to talk to. I mean, we actually had to
anybody
hold
who
off.
wants to listen to him. You can request a therapist or just give him somebody to talk to. Just send your phone number in so that he can ramble at you for a couple hours.
I kid you not, this is a direct quote from Ben while we were watching the Cat game, after the Cats lost. He said, I think I have to give Eric a few hours because he is irrationally mad. And everybody agreed with him.
I was like, we can't record right now. We're going to have to give this a couple hours because he's going to say some really mean things at this point. He's going to say some really bad stuff, and I don't want to have to deal with it.
Yeah.
It was not the greatest mood that we were sitting in at that point.
No.
Do you want to move on to picks from next week? Do you have anything else to say right now?
Not without going on another 30-minute bender about something stupid.
Yeah. That could be the problem there. So week 10, Big Sky action. We'll let you take the first one.
Give it to me.
Up top, we got our Northern Arizona matchup with Montana State.
I just have to think Montana State's going to come out swinging.
Yep. Back at home field.
Yeah. I think that if we have trouble, we got bigger problems. So I'm just going to leave it at that. Montana State's going to win this game.
Yep.
And
Lock it in.
Yep.
Next one is Idaho versus Northern Colorado. This is a pretty easy game to pick. Idaho looks very good on defense. Great quarterback play. Solid wide receivers. Wasn't too much impressed with their running backs. I can look back at the numbers for their rushing real
20
quick.
for 64, 10 for 4. They had 107 rushing yards between everybody.
Yeah,
but that was
not very impressive, but the quarterback and the wide receivers are the main thing on that offense.
Yeah.
And the defense looked very, very strong. I think they are going to roll all over Northern Colorado.
Do you think that's going to be a 40-burger win, 30-burger win? Because I think if the Grizzlies can drop 40 to nothing on Northern Colorado, Idaho can do it too.
I think as a team, it is hard to drop that many points 2 weeks in a row because Northern Colorado is probably going to be coming out pretty hurt.
Yeah.
Like their egos are probably pretty hurt right now. They'll probably be practicing extra hard this week. They're going to come out against Idaho and they're going to try to do something against them.
Well,
they're also at home.
Quarterbacks are hurt.
Yeah.
During the game, both of them got hurt.
Ooh.
The one was able to go back out and continue, but I mean, it took him a bit to get off the field. I don't see Idaho.
I'm not saying it's going to be a close game, but dropping 40 points 2 weeks in a row is
spoiler alert. Whatever that spread is on that game, I'm taking Idaho.
You're taking Idaho. You're an Idaho believer now.
I'm gonna
see how it is. Next one is Cal Poly versus Eastern Washington. This is a tough one to pick. Both 3 and 5 teams.
I think I'll go with Eastern here. I think Eastern will win a dogfight here, but I could see it going either way.
Over the last 5 games for Cal Poly, they have only beat Northern Colorado, and they lost to Montana State, Idaho, UC Davis, and Portland State.
That is a pretty brutal schedule.
That is pretty rough. And then Eastern Washington's last 5 games, they beat Weber State, lost to Idaho State, beat UC Davis, beat Southeast Louisiana.
I still think Eastern Washington. What about you?
I would say Eastern Washington. Weber State kind of turned into somewhat of a slouch after being ranked high later in the season, but that's still kind of a quality win. UC Davis 27-24. They're good in close games. They lost to Idaho State on a missed field goal that went off the upright. So I think that their record does not reflect what kind of team they exactly are. I would agree with you on Eastern Washington getting that win.
Yeah. Yeah.
Next one is Weber State versus Idaho State.
Ooh.
I think
let's go.
I think I'm gonna roll with my alumni family on this one. I'm gonna go Tigers over Weber State.
Man, I'll ride with you 100%.
I don't really have much of a justification except for they've played really scrappy against some really good teams. It doesn't feel like any of their losses, I can double check, were blowouts really, unless they were playing like out of conference teams. Yeah, they got blown out by Utah State by 50, but that's a different kind of matchup. Other than that, they're playing quality games against people. They played touchdown for touchdown with Montana. They beat Idaho State on that missed field goal. They beat Portland State. They're playing touchdown for touchdown with Sacramento State right now as we speak. I'm going to say the Tigers take out Weber State next week.
I think I can 100% get behind that. Idaho State's offense they can put up yards.
Mm-hmm.
I think they can do it. One other quick game is that the end of the?
No, we still got 2 more.
We got 2. Oh boy,
we got 2 more.
We must be done with bye weeks, huh?
No more bye weeks. I don't think. There might be one more late by, but I'm not exactly sure.
All right,
Next one is Portland State versus UC Davis.
I am never picking UC Davis again.
You got burnt too many times.
Too many times.
They done did you in too many times.
Chachere going to run rampant on UC Davis.
They got quality players. They got a quality quarterback, quality running back.
Yeah.
They got skill players to put up points.
Portland State's going to win. Lock it in.
Portland State, I'd go with it. And then Sac State versus Montana.
That is
Sac State at Montana.
That is the intriguing one of the week, I think. There's big implications on that one too. Unfortunately, it is at Washington Grizzly. I will never pick the Grizzlies to win. I don't care what the matchup is.
Except for last week when we picked them
at this point.
From this point on, we have been burnt too many times. Too many salty texts our way. Too much salt and vinegar has been thrown at us tonight.
I'm done.
Pick the Grizzlies.
I'm done.
Doesn't matter.
Sac State is going to go in and they're going to punch the Grizzlies in the mouth.
Let's go Hornets.
And even if it's unlikely, I just want it to happen.
Yeah. I don't know if Sacramento State's fans travel well, but I hope that they are just in the stands there, just tearing things up, just being like a swarm of bees, just stinging everybody the entire time. They deserve it at this point.
And from what I hear, Grizzlies have an allergic reaction to hornet stings.
They do. They're pretty afraid of them. They love the honey, but they hate the sting. I can tell you that for sure.
One more pick for you. This is a big one.
Okay.
South Dakota State, North Dakota State.
South Dakota State, North Dakota State.
It's played in Brookings.
I gotta say South Dakota State's gonna win that.
I sure think so
and
too.
We almost have to root for South Dakota State throughout the rest of the season, because if they lose, it almost drops us in the rankings.
If they were to lose, though, that could get us back on the right side from them.
It could help move us up now that we lost this game.
North Dakota State, I just don't think they're themselves this year.
No.
But that is a major playoff implication game. If there was a chance South Dakota State loses this game, it would be massive. Imagine if South Dakota State loses. Who the heck would be number one? Furman?
I don't know.
God bless America.
If somebody called Furman is number one in the country, we got problems. Okay, we're gonna have to get an inquisition done. We're gonna have to call in the Senate, the Congress, and we're gonna have to figure some stuff out as a country, because we're letting Furman be number one.
George Washington, get out here and help us.
We're bringing in Abraham Lincoln. Yeah. We're bringing in JFK. He's been hiding in the Caribbean for 40 years. We're bringing all of them in. JFK Jr. is going to hang out with us for a bit. He's not vaccinated, but he's cool, you know. And yeah, Tupac, Elvis, we're all coming together, and we're going to make sure that Furman does not become the number one team in the country. I had one more question for you. We're going to be right on all of our picks, obviously, because we're always right on all of our picks. We make these picks with the most confidence in the world, right, because we know things. We're very smart people.
Right.
When, not if, but when the Grizzlies lose next week, on a scale from 1 to Tom Petty, how petty are we going to react to those Grizz fans? Because I almost want to keep my mouth shut.
I think that's the best. I think that's the best thing we can do, is at some point somebody has to be better than somebody's just got to be better.
I'm going to let my silence speak. I'm going to let my silence speak outside of if anybody listens to this podcast. I'm going to let my silence speak volumes. I'm going to not talk to them at all. I'm going to let them wallow in their loss. I'm going to let them sit there and enjoy losing by themselves and make sure that they don't have anybody reaching out to them, you know?
Right.
Nobody out there reaching out to them.
Yeah.
Just let them know.
Irrelevant.
Let them wallow in it.
Irrelevant.
Yeah. Why would we even think about them? There's no reason to even think about them.
No. Any new campaigns to start this week?
No, we still haven't gotten names on the jerseys. I thought we would get that done in 1 week, but it didn't happen. We do. It was nice because we were with your father-in-law for this game, and it is nice having him around because he has just this photographic, ridiculous mind and memory.
Yeah.
To where you're like, "Who's this number?" and he knows instantly. Where me and you were sitting there scrolling through a Google Doc every once in a while because we're like, I can't remember because there's 9 on the offense and 9 on the defense, and I can't remember which one the 9 is the 9. And then the 9's 9, but 10's also 7, and I can't figure this out. Yeah. But we have to look through it. But when your father-in-law is there, you can just be like, bang, that's it.
Yeah, it is extremely handy. Yeah, it is nice having that. I don't know what it's the numbers thing for him. Like he just remembers numbers so crazy well that it doesn't matter how many numbers there are. He knows exactly who they are.
Just so you know, as we were recording this podcast, we also got a follow on the Cats Pod Instagram from your mother-in-law.
Hey,
so there we go. Shout out. Shout out. There we go. We got another one.
Yeah.
Any more campaigns to come up with?
Another thing
we just got to get back to being ourselves.
Yeah.
Oh, also, we have a new name for our fans, I believe.
Yeah,
Are we going to go with it?
I think
so. So, if you want to be an official member of the Podcats, the Cats Pod Podcats,
let's go.
You can be on the team for any amount of money, or just if you say nice things to us. If you go on our Twitter and add us at CatsPod and say anything nice about either of us or anybody on the team, you can become a podcat. Also, if you want to support the podcast, you can do that on a link underneath this episode. Become a CatsPod supporter for as little as $1 a month. Helps us to buy more equipment, make our production better, make us able to make more episodes of the show if you are enjoying it. Also, you can check out our merch store that's came up. We've got a couple new items on there, and you can also support Bobcast for Bobby because he's getting really close, if not I think he tied the record today. But we're trying to make sure that he sticks around for years and years to come. We want this man coaching this team forever and ever.
Amen, brother. Amen. As far as everything else is concerned, shout outs. Tommy, you're our guy. Julius Davis, love you. Ty McCullough, fantastic.
Sean Chambers, want to see you some more.
Let's go.
Want to see you some more.
Brody, love you, man.
Trayton Pickering,
100%.
A lot of love for this team, a lot of love for these players. We would love to get an interview with any of these guys, honestly. Shout out Seabass.
Oh, yeah.
Seabass didn't make any big plays tonight, but he made a lot. He had a big impact on the game with the way he was playing.
Huge impact.
Because everybody's on him.
Or everywhere on the field, every single play. Fantastic game, guys. Wish it would have gone the other way.
Also, one more, Simeon Woodard.
Oh, yeah.
Simeon Woodard was having an amazing game throughout that first half. I didn't expressly notice anything in the second half, but I'm sure he was all over the secondary. Because he was on every tackle, covering every man, it felt like.
There was one of your number 9s right there.
Yeah, that's one of my number 9s. I saw that pink mouth guard all over the field.
Yeah. So I think we're good for today.
Yeah. Thanks to all the listeners. Hope we see you again next week or hear from you at any point. Join the Podcats anytime you want at CatsPod on Instagram, at CatsPod on Twitter. Follow us and give us downloads. It helps out with our numbers all over the place. Thank you for listening to this episode, and we will have a much better game to talk about next week.
Amen.